Well, we're here once again to talk about the LEC and not really talk about the LEC because the LEC 2023 spring split starts literally this weekend on Saturday once again. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 7, episode 9. We're going to talk about the LEC, not really just about the BO3s or anything. We'll just talk about the strength of the LEC overall because the LEC 2023 spring split starts this Saturday, actually.
G2 got a new roster.
Sure do. G2 a brand new roster.
Yeah, my God. Oh my God, I saw that shit. I was like, okay. I was so tired after I thought it was real that until I heard a certain day, I was like, they're bullshit. Ain't no way how they're gonna put K-Dro as middle laner. That he's gonna run it down, just troll. Oh my God.
It's one of these things where, yeah, I mean, that's been a contention point for a lot of people when it comes to G2 is like, since they've already qualified for MSI 2023, then people have been asking like, okay, then what do they really do now that they've already, what do you have to achieve more? Well, I honestly don't know. I mean, what's the best way to really analyze their strength? So my issue would be it's all based off the format right now. So if G2's already qualified, then I think the best thing to do is, this is what I would do. I would honestly increase your value more by bringing up potential like ERL players and see if they can actually, make your roster even better, because right now G2 look actually pretty good. They're by far and away the best team in the LEC. I would potentially try out a few new players in certain positions and see if they're able to hack it. And if not, just put in the other two guys and just win with them. So people are gonna ask, why would you do that? Because when we hit the off season later on this year, after World is over, you can simply sell those players off if they're actually really, really good. So G2 benefits from having those players on the bench that people would in theory want. That's just how it would be actually. So what do you think, man? Because you've watched the LEC with me as well. What did you think, actually?
About the whole season in general?
Let's go over the standings really quickly. Just give me 1 second. Let me get this figured out really quickly because they just updated the whole Anchor.fm fucking website. Or I was trying to put my podcast
honestly, that would be cool to have G2 just step away for a whole split and then just have that new team they announced. Oh my God, that would have been funny. It was like, oh God, we're gonna take the spring split off. We're gonna have these guys play. I'm like, oh shit, yo man. Matter of fact, we gotta find that G2 video. We gotta play that. That shit.
Motherfucker says the Bouse, K-Dro, Promise Q, Promise Q. Man, it's worse than full ass.
I got the video right here. We gotta play that.
Oh my God.
Can we play it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, so we go put
this in playoff spring season because it's about to be fucking crazy. Oh my God, that shit is ridiculous. All right,
because the questions are: can Fnatic bounce back? Mm-hmm. Can XL look any good?
Because as Thorin pointed out in Summoning Insight, one of the XL players, he didn't name which one, said it was mentally done before week 1. So a player on XL was mentally finished in their head before they even played a game on the stage. You know how many scrims you would have to lose to feel like that? Do you know how many scrims a person would have to lose for them to be mentally done before the season even starts? What the hell is going on? That is ridiculous. Like, that's absolutely crazy. One of the players was already mentally done before they were even playing a game. That's crazy. And then G2 put out their update for their spring roster. Actually, we're gonna see that right now. All right, share system audio. Let's go with that. Okay. All right, audio's on. Cool. All right.
Hey guys, it's Dylan here. I wanted to update you all with our plans for the spring split now that we've qualified for MSI. After a lot of internal discussions and meetings, we've decided that for our best chances of performing internationally, that we will travel to Korea and scrim LPL and LCK teams in preparation for international competition. Unfortunately, that means that BB, Yike, Caps, Hansama, and Mickey X will be unable to perform for us in the spring LEC split. Fortunately, though, we've done a lot of scouting and analyst work to try and field a roster that we feel will be competitive and fun. For top lane, we'll be fielding the boss. For jungle, the god himself, Gilius.
Jesus Christ.
For AD carry, we will bring back the legend Forgiven. And as for support, of course, Promise Q. We need coaching staff as well. Grabs, who gave us this wonderful idea, will be coming in as coach. And for analyst, we'll be bringing back Duffman. You might be wondering, who's the mid laner? It's a big shoes to fill Caps's. But we will be bringing in the man you all know as Pedro. We know this roster is kind of troll, but we think it'll bring a lot of attention to our wonderful sponsors and partners. We're actually very happy with the result. And let's be honest, guys, spring split doesn't really matter anyways. Oh, fuck. None of them actually signed the contracts? Are they on the plane to Korea yet?
No.
Okay, guys. I think we have to cancel it. I guess we'll stick with the same roster then? Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
That looks clean though. I ain't gonna lie. That looks
I ordered
clean.
this one. I ordered this. This is clean as fuck. I want to get their I want to get the jacket. I usually never get the jackets with the jerseys, but the jersey they have and the jacket this year, the kit. Oh my god, that shit looks fire. Man, you walk around with like that. Girls about to be throwing their fucking pussycats at you and shit.
It's too
Girls are throwing their whole kitties at you.
I was like, wait. At first,
Motherfucker said, "Promise Q. Promise Q is worse than fleshy." Please, I was like, please kill me now.
I thought it was all good until the Kedra. You really gonna have Kedra in the mouth? Oh Jesus! And they say, yeah, I know this team's a troll. I'm like, yes, it is. But imagine if that team actually did better than Fnatic or XL. Like,
that would be fucking
throw
horrible.
Throw those two rosters in the trash.
This is always sold out. The fucking jackets are always sold out. Oh my god. And Riot is like not gonna let G2 be a part of the Valorant fucking Pro Tour because of some Carlos shit. Even though every single fucking piece of merchandise this org puts out just sells out and shit. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like when orgs do content like that. I miss content like that. You know, I feel like if esport orgs within League of Legends from like the LEC and the LCS want to kind of get back to getting the views that they used to get, well, you're going to have to make some content in general. And I know like people have said they make content, but they don't make content consistently. Like if you're looking at a lot of these teams, they just release a voice comm and then that's just it. You know, even from the LEC. Like, yeah, you have your TSM Legend style video from Fnatic, but that's pretty much it. Most teams don't really put out any other meaningful content to have you like really connect with the players, though. You know what I mean? So like, how are you going to connect with these players if you don't have a somewhat mini docu-series episode about each player? You know, like if you wanted to be a fan of Mad Lions, how would you be a fan of Mad Lions outside of just, oh, I just like El Yoya and I just like Niski because Niski was in Cloud9 and Niski was on Splice and Niski was on all these teams that I've been with throughout the many years, right? Same thing with Hylissang. Hylissang, I mean, maybe you remember Hylissang from being on Fnatic. All it's been many years he was on Fnatic, but it's like, I don't know. The orgs don't really put out any content that is going to be meaningful and long lasting, as months and months go by. It's always just voice comm videos, which are fine, but it's like going to a restaurant and then just getting sides and you're not really getting a full course meal. That's kind of what it feels like when it comes to content now. Or they're playing like these like trivia games and stuff like that. That stuff's fun. That stuff's fine. I think that's good too. Making like fun content where you're playing like you're trying to guess the League of Legends champions, playing like what's the thing is charades or whatever. Stuff like that is fun. But you need something else to tie it into it. And apparently a lot of these esport orgs, especially between LCS and LEC, they're like the staffs or the content creation team are very understaffed, and that would also probably contribute to the less content coming out because you have to film it, edit it, put it together. You have to match it up with the schedules of the players themselves. That you also have scrims, right? So yeah, it's a lot of things going on right now. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna support G2 as always. They're the kings of the LEC. Been watching G2 ever since 2016. Can't wait. 10 LEC titles. They came in won 4 titles, didn't win anything in 2018. From 2019 all the way to the end of 2020, they won 4 more titles. Then in 2021, they didn't win anything because they had Reckless, and Reckless was going to tank that G2 roster, even though it was claimed to be a super team. Then in 2022, they win Spring. People forget, last year in Spring, they weren't even supposed to win that year. They weren't even supposed to win last year in Spring. That's when they had Flackid and Targamas. Flackid was a rookie player coming in. I mean, rookies, these guys have been playing for a long time, but these are supposed to be like, people knew like, hey, you probably can't win with these players. Like they're just not capable enough to win the LEC. But they did. They ended up winning the LEC with Flackid and Targamas. Then they went to MSI, made top 4. They had that impressive win streak from the LEC all the way into the MSI, where they went on that massive losing streak, and then they broke it because they beat Evil Geniuses. It's crazy. That roster beat Evil Geniuses 6 times in the same year. That's ridiculous. 5, because they had one of the losses was with Kaori. So, yeah, let's go over some of the LEC teams. Actually, most of the rosters are going to be the same outside of like minor changes here or there. So the biggest teams that you want to focus on going into the split are definitely Team Vitality. They now have Upset, and Fnatic, who have now swapped out their top lane and their support. Team BDS, they made no changes. Team Heretics made no changes. SK Gaming made no changes. Mad Lions made no changes. I personally think, so because someone said, would you put Wonder on Mad Lions? I really wouldn't, honestly, because I think Chasey has performed a lot better than Wonder. I think he's been a much substantially better carry player overall. So I would say no. Koi would benefit from having Wonder, potentially. Because here's my thing when it comes to Wonder. Wonder has not been what people have said since 2021, actually. Wonder has actually not even carried games like that. So when Fnatic did get rid of him, people were like, oh my God, you got rid of one of your best players. Guys, Wonder was running it down in a lot of those games. Or those Gragas games he had, there was the one, people are going to harp on like the one Gwen game he had. He had like one Gwen game where he looked pretty good. Outside of that, he really didn't play that well, honestly. His Fiora games were bad. His Gragas games were bad. His Gnar games. Yeah, he stole a Baron once. Yeah, that's cool. But, I mean, is replacing Wonder with Oscurin going to be better? Because this is what people have to understand. It's not just about replacing a player. You have to understand, if you're replacing a player, if you're not getting actually anything better from this player, then you're essentially just making a lateral move. But we'll have to see how that'll pan out. What do you think, man, about anything that's been going on with the LEC? What's up, Intensive? How you doing, man?
I'm not surprised the changes were made. I think I'm not sure. I think Koi might have could have replaced their Thailand Wonder, but
yeah. Because probably like they brought over Jigenda, and he's just literally what Otawamne is. So you're thinking to yourself that one rogue coaching staff guy didn't like Otawamne, so he's gonna sack out Otawamne, get a worse version of Otawamne, and then he in theory he would be like, oh yeah, see, I brought up this guy back from ERLs after he was sent into ERLs because he was fucking bad. Brought him up, and he would get like all the fame. Like he'd be like, I'm the guy that brought up Shigen, and I won an LEC title with him. No, that's just not how that works, buddy. What Koi should have did was do what Cloud9 did, and they should have just ran the roster back minus the one, which they did. They ran the same roster back minus the one player, right? But the difference with Otawamne compared to someone like Jensen is, as we know from what people in Rogue have said, which is Otawamne was able to kind of, not necessarily shot call, but he was able to control the pace of the game with the players that they were ahead. So like, if Koi would be chasing too much in fights, trying to get kills, he would be like, hey guys, no, let's take the objective. Let's go to take the turret. Let's go to Rift Herald. Like he would be the calm voice in the team that would be able to, calm the situation down. And you saw that in a lot of their games. They were making mistakes that they really weren't making last year. And a lot of that is part because of Otawamne. I'm not giving the man all the credit, but you can definitely tell they were making mistakes that they didn't make last year. Rogue/Koi has always been this calm, collected team, strong early game, good fundamentals. And you saw that they still have all of that. But if you have a weaker top laner, then a lot of that just falls apart, actually. I just don't understand what they can really do. So like with Koi, I would say, because people said Malrong got figured out. I don't think so. I think Malrong's still one of the best junglers in the league. I don't think he got figured out. I think it's just they need to refine that playstyle they had last year with Malrong and make sure that's going to be something that they can play through. Because Malrong is literally just a fucking animal. This guy's a psycho. He just fucking ganks and ganks and ganks and ganks. And I think that's what the region needs in a jungler, because like you saw at Worlds last year, the European junglers did not know how to deal with a jungler who was consistently just in their face constantly 24/7, So I personally think that Malrong's playstyle has definitely been good for the LEC. I think he's been one of the best junglers since last year. But yeah, he's not looked as in his top form, but I still think he's still a top 3 jungler. I will still say that. And I mean, if you're not good enough to stop him in his high pressure ganking playstyle, then I mean that's not really going to be a problem. Because the thing here, everyone understanding is keeping the pressure of the game going is how you win the game. Like we've seen a lot of teams from the LCS and the LEC, they'll get a lead and they'll just kind of stop moving with it. It's like you don't want to do that. You want to keep going. You want to make sure you're making the right plays on the map. Actually, what do you think about Koi, man?
I do believe. No, I think you with Segenda, they were on the right track. It was one of those teams that took time to build up. I think they get ran into a tougher matchups. That's my big opinion. Because my lines were just better, and as well as G2. Like to me, Team Vitality they peaked a little too early. That's my opinion with them. But like Koi, even if it's like I think with that one, I think with Otawamne leaving, that was more of a like he just got screwed over, in my opinion. Because you get the guy who leaves, the guy who fires him, that he leaves, kind of like double FU to.
Oh yeah, also the same guy that was their head coach is now on Team Heretics. So they lost Otawamne, and then they lost Otawamne because of that one guy and his fucking ego or whatever. Then you also lose the head coach because of that other guy and his ego. So it's like you lost the crucial main components to how they finally won a title. It's like, ooh, that's a big gamble right there you're taking. And, I think Koi and Trimby, they scaled up as the split went by. Like, later on, as the split went by, you're like, okay, this is still going to be a top 2 bot lane, actually. Still a good bot lane overall. And then after that, Larson, I don't think Larson had the most standout split from this year, but I do think that he didn't have an impressive split either. Like, he didn't have a bad split, but it wasn't really anything to go crazy over. Like, he wasn't playing. I would probably say that Niski from the eye test looked better than Larson, but Larson was a bit more consistent. That's kind of how I would probably see it. Malrong, like I said before, still looked good to me. But yeah, that's it with Koi. I think they hit a ceiling last summer, and I think to hit that ceiling again, either when it comes to summer split, you need to either replace Shigenda and get a head coach that can bring these players together like the last head coach did, and go, hey, we have a good play style. We know how to win our games. We know our objectives. We know how to win these small skirmishes that Rogue was really good at winning, getting the team back to where they once were. Because there was games earlier this year where it looked really bad from them. As of like, wait, this is not even the same team anymore. Then there were weeks where, it looked pretty good. So, but when it got to the BO3 situations, they were pretty much just destroying people. And yeah, Chaz is right. They only really lost to Mad Lions in G2, like teams that people kind of expect to be like top 3 anyway. So like, if you're losing to the best teams in the league, are you really that bad compared to the other field? It just depends on obviously the relative strength and competition of the region too. But they lost to Mad Lions, a team that got destroyed by G2. So it's kind of like, okay, clearly Koi and Mad Lions are like the second and third best teams, give or take who you're switching out, and G2 would be your best team. All right, let's go to talk about Excel. So Excel's team is going to be the same. Now, Excel was by far and away like the worst team in the LEC last winter split. That was just completely awful. Like, Xerxes was the worst jungler in the league. He just kind of ran it down every game. Man was straight up invisible. Like, I have never seen someone as a jungler be that invisible. That was so pathetic, so bad. He consistently conceded all objectives. He would not gank. Even when he did play high ganking junglers like Elise, that looked really bad. Like, everything from Excel was bad. And this is coming from like players that you've seen had success before. And you're thinking like, okay, with these guys all together, finally, this is going to be pretty good. Well, no, actually, it didn't pan out that way at all. Excel looked completely just lost. Or it's one of these cases where if you have too many veteran players, then it's going to be a case of, well, how can you try out different play styles? How can you really do anything different when most of these players have been playing for a very long time? They already know how they want to play the game. There's just not much there you can do with that. What do you think about Excel, man?
Hey, okay, my biggest thing is I think the hype around them is what made them seem more of a disappointment. Because the hype, the fuck they call it, Silver Team, they're gonna be number 1 with ease. I'm like, okay, all right, let's see how they do first.
Yeah,
and then boom, they crash, and I mean they just don't crash. I mean they
get lit on fire. What's that? They got fucking Pearl Harbored. They just got lit up.
Yeah,
they got just completely destroyed. Like, we're talking in games where this team didn't even know how to even play out a dive correctly half the time. It's like, okay, you're not that bad.
Dive, they were missing objectives, get injectors stolen. Team fights were bad. Laning
phase was atrocious. Like, the laning phases, if people go back and watch Targamas and Patrick's laning phase on like Draven and Nautilus, that was horrible.
There was games where they barely took a tower. Like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they had by far and away the worst stats out of any team. I think they had all the players outside of like Otawamne worst CS differential at 15. They took the least towers, least turret plates, took the least objectives. The only game they actually looked good in was the one they played against Fnatic, where they threw that game too. And there was the game where they were up against Team Vitality toward the end of the split. Remember? Yeah. That game that went back and forth. So they had one game where they were winning early, through it. Then they had a game they were winning early again, through it. Then there was a game where Team BDS was straight up just beating them really hard. And then since Team BDS didn't know how to close out the game, that gave Excel their only win. Remember, if Team BDS, that was Team Week 1 BDS. BDS in Weeks 2 and 3 were just, if they had a lead, they were better at closing the game out. But when Week 1, they were still kind of like, they're still kind of struggling how to actually close out a game. And Excel got their only win from that because they faced BDS in Week 1, who were very clearly winning that game. Like, it was, if you ever watch that game, guys, Excel versus BDS Week 1, they are winning that game. It is just downright disgusting how Excel were able to, they didn't call that back. Team BDS lost that game. So, also, the other biggest thing here is Vetio. Like I said before, Vetio was on Misfits last year, for anyone who doesn't know, and Misfits were not good. I mean, that's the same org that had Neon and Irrelevant and MRSA and Zanzara and Schlachten and those guys. So Misfits was only getting wins because certain teams was just flat out just not winning. They were just in winning positions, not closing out. Then this was the meta of Yumi and Zeri and Akali. So if you didn't win the game by a certain amount of time, then the Misfits players, they had the best champions in the game constantly given to them by bad drafting from the LEC teams, to the point where, they could obviously win the game because their champions were just stronger as the game went by. So then you bring over Vetio, who I thought looked pretty good last year, but I even said this before, and I put an asterisk to this. I said that, does Vetio only look good because the other players around him just don't look as good, or is he that good himself? Now, this split would tell you this guy is not good. Like, this split, he played really bad. This split, he didn't roam consistently. He laned bad. He just was walking into lane and just basically barely CSing half the time.
Yep.
So I don't know. Did he lose faith in this team, or did the player that we saw last year that was actually really good in a lot of isolated scenarios, was that just a flash in the, what's the saying? So it's like a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Because I told people in 2021, he wasn't good in 2021 either. He's only really had one good year to me. Like, he has never hit the same highs as Caps ever. He's never been as good as Larson. He's never been as good as Niski. He's never, I mean, when Humanoid was taking it seriously, he was never good as Humanoid. Like, I don't know. He's never been that kind of player, but he was good last year, and I'm not going to take that away from him, but that was in a whole different scenario with a team that a lot of people didn't even think were even going to make playoffs at all. Then, when Misfits made playoffs, he got destroyed. He lost 3-0 the first split twice, he won a single game against Rogue in like spring, but every playoffs after that, he lost 3-0. Every playoffs game, it was 3-0. He went like 1-9 in playoffs. That's how bad his team was in playoffs too. So, Targamas, because you remember Targamas from G2 last year. Yeah. Targamas was bad last year. Targamas was only good in spring. He peaked in spring and at MSI last year. Summer, he ran it down. Worlds, he ran it down. I don't know why Excel brought this guy over. He legitimately was he only played like 2 champions good. This man was egregiously bad last year at Worlds. I don't know why Excel brought this guy over. That was the pickup where that just didn't make any sense to me. Why the fuck did you bring this guy? That is a troll pick right there. But good Lord. So that's most of my points with Excel. I'm still very. It sucks because what's the best way to explain this? If you opt into keeping Xerxes on your team, I don't want to hear anything from this org about making playoffs and wanting to go to fucking MSI this split. Remember, if you get second place in the playoffs, I think the playoffs upper bracket or lower bracket, you're going to make MSI. So G2's already qualified for MSI. If you make the finals, you're going to go with G2 to MSI. So whoever makes the finals of the split gets to go with G2 to MSI. And I don't want to hear Excel saying they want to go to MSI looking like horse shit.
Whoever automatically makes it to finals?
Yeah, because it's also based on championship points too. So if you have enough, so Mad Lions theoretically, if they put their cards right, could make MSI. Even though what if Mad Lions do make the finals and they have enough championship points over someone like Team Vitality? I guess we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. But that's me with XL. So we talked about what? Koi, XL, Astralis. Astralis, they're swapping out Dejor apparently for Leader. I think Leader is probably the player they need. They need a more aggressive mid laner to make some plays on the map.
Anybody better, really. Like, shit.
Dejor was the worst mid laner in the LEC. Was he worse than Vetio? Probably. There
was games where he was better. There was games he was worse. A lot worse.
Remember the game where he finally got a lead on Silas and he literally just didn't know what the hell to do with it? I was like, bro, that's the nail in the coffin right there, man. You cannot have this many games and then you finally get the resources. You finally get ahead and then you just throw it. Remember, guys, Dejor wasn't good last year. I don't know why they brought him over this year. Dejor wasn't good last year. He sucked last year, but he mega sucked this year. And my thing also with Astralis is I think Finn had a pretty okay split, better than what I expected. 1-3-3 had a pretty okay split overall. Like they were an okay topside duo. I think Kabe had a pretty good split overall. He was like my regular split MVP, given how like good he was actually playing in a lot of those games. You also had Janghoon. I think Janghoon had a bad split overall. Like if this roster wants to compete and get better and maybe make MSI, which Astralis making MSI is a joke in itself, right? You're gonna have to make a bit more roster changes if you want to try and make that push later on this year for Worlds. But if you're trying to make top 8, make it to the BO3 stage, and potentially get past the BO3 stage, I think this is a good enough roster. I mean, it's okay. Like some of these players, you can definitely tell there's still massive holes in their gameplay. They don't really know what to do. Remember, guys, there was moments where Astralis shouldn't even have made the BO3 stage. Remember, they were playing that bad to a point where like they got a single win against XL and they were like, hey, we can maybe make playoffs. Like a single win against the worst team gave them enough confidence to go like, we got this. But I also can respect Astralis didn't ever give up, and that's something I can respect. But then again, can they ever make it past the BO3 stage now, given LEC's new format? That's the biggest test for them. All right. Anything else you want to say about Astralis, man?
No, they did the right thing by getting rid of Dejor. Like he was obviously the weakest link on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was a given though. That was a given. That how they got to the playoffs and he just never got better. Like
right? Like that's my thing is if you have a mid laner who's that big of a detriment, like people need to understand if you have a mid laner who is that big of a detriment, you can't win. Mid lane obviously is the most important position on the map, like the most important position. And if you have a mid laner who can't do anything good, you are just going to look extremely bad. Now with Leader, is Leader able to push the team across the finish line? And by finish line, I mean make sure they're not always finishing 8th. I think the team will finish a bit better with Leader.
I mean, they did it better than they have been going 9th or 10th place. They've actually made the playoffs. But think about it, they actually made the playoffs this time.
That's true, yeah. This is the first year they've actually made playoffs.
First year ever?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus. That's mean...
Because this has been an org since 2020, actually.
Oh, okay.
So this is the first time they ever made playoffs. So that's they're in the right direction, I think. I guess. Yeah, he can go play in the suburbs. Holy crap! All right, let's go to Team Vitality. So Team Vitality has the same team except for Neon. They swapped out Neon for Upset. Now I know people have said, does Upset fix their issues? But I don't know if it fixes all their issues, but I think it gives them a win condition to play through that's not Photon, that's not Perks, getting other resources as well. Because initially going into the split, I was like, you know what, Neon might be the better pickup only because he can be that player that doesn't require resources. He can play weak side, and then you kind of get the resources to the top lane and the mid lane. Come to find out, Neon was not just cutting it when it got to the BO3 stage, because in the BO1 stage, he looked pretty stable, overall. But then when it came to the BO3 stage, he got completely exposed. It just looked like he just either lost faith in himself, the team lost faith in him, and teams knew how to expose Team Vitality through their bot side to the point where Kaiser is dying level 1 on Nautilus. There was that game where they're up 8,000 gold. They could win the game, and then they start making mistakes, and then they lose the game, and then they troll, and Bo fucking picks Karthus jungle. Like, that's gonna fucking do anything, and they just lose. So, yeah, the bot lane 2v2 was extremely bad, and it's not really always about having a player that can play weak side. It's more like playing weak side just doesn't automatically mean you just fucking go 0-10 or just lose laning phase and do all that stuff. No, you're supposed to be a stable point on the map. So if the top side of the map doesn't get far ahead, then maybe the jungler can die for you, and then now you can get ahead because you've been a stable part of the team. Upset can not only play weak side, he can play a stable position on the team, and Upset's going to be the guy that's going to be like, hey, give me Caitlyn round 1 of our drafting phase. Give me Zeri. Draft me the best bot lane. I want to carry the game. So that means that Perks can play more roaming picks, such as like maybe a Galio, maybe a Zoe that's in the meta, maybe the Silas. Photon, as we know, was one of the best top laners in the league. He was actually pretty good the entire year. This allows Bo to dive bot lane consistently, and he knows, hey, my bot lane's actually going to do something with the lead that I give them. Because remember, guys, if a jungler dedicates resources to the bot lane and you don't do anything with them, that's just extreme. That's bad, because now I wasted my time going down there to give you resources I know you can't actually do anything with. Perks, like I said before, Perks it's been hot and cold so much. I mean, he had a pretty relatively average split, I would say. Like, I love Perks, but he had a pretty average split overall. There were some games he did really, really well in. There were some games he just looked pretty bad in. He was just average overall. So I think, does Upset give them that edge that should make them compete with teams like Mad Lions, Koi, right? Because their biggest competition right now isn't even G2. Nobody's competition right now is G2, because G2's already qualified. Like, and most likely you're not really going to beat them in most given games. And even if you do, G2 have this thing of like, they don't blow their load, early on in the season. Their thing is that they want to just scale it with the split overall. So Team Vitality's biggest competition is Mad Lions and Koi. And then you want to throw a wrench in there. SK Gaming also, I don't know. How do we feel about SK Gaming?
I mean, they're good. The thing is, they're the team that catches people off guard and can take advantage. Are they like a top tier team? No, they're middle of the pack, in my opinion. But overall, they're
a middle of the pack team that can surprise, which is a good thing. Like with SK Gaming, like Exekick and DOS were a great bot lane. They were just absolutely ripping people apart. Marcoon looked like one of the best junglers in the split. Certus had awesome pop-off games. They were one game away, guys. Remember, this org was one game away from making top 3. Remember, this was their highest placing place in a season since like 2014. This was by far and away their best split in a long, long, long time. Irrelevant, nice rock in the top lane, could carry on certain champions like Gnar and Renekton. This team is good. Like, I don't know, if we were doing power rankings for these teams, I'd probably have them somewhere around like 5th, probably. 5th, 6th. That's where I would probably have them, actually. I think this team could definitely, maybe potentially do more damage now that they've had their first split under their belt. But that's always a weird conversation. It's like, they did well in their first split. Does that automatically mean that they're going to do better in the second split? No. But then again, given how the strength of the LEC is, I mean, is any other team really going to be challenging them as much? Because they looked pretty good toward the end of that winter split. So we'll have to see how it goes for them. I think they definitely have some pretty strong pieces to play around, especially their bot lane. Their bot lane was just straight up 2v2ing, wrecking people. I was like, damn, this is fucking, like, they made Fnatic's bot lane look like bitches. They're like, XK was like, here's my nice long German cock. Eat my dick, bitch. He just was tearing them apart. I was like, this guy is insane. Like, this guy just ripping motherfuckers apart. So, like, if you have a bot lane that can carry like that, that's what Team Vitality wants. Team Vitality wants their bot lane to play like SK Gaming's bot lane, where even if they're not going to get resources from a jungler, they can still win 2v2s on their own based off their players just being individually better. So on Twitter, did you not see the all pro team that they actually did?
I saw it on YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah. I saw the first team. Now, usually I don't always agree with these all pro teams because they're usually dude, there were years they did fan votes, guys, for all pro teams. That's so troll. Okay. Here was the team. So we'll start from 3, 2, and 1. Third place team is Chasey, Marcoon, Larson, Comp, and Trimby. Second team was Hillisang, Exakick, Niski, Yike, and Broken Blade. All right. In my own personal position, I think DOS had a better split than Hillisang with Exakick. I think I would probably say that.
I think Hillisang
didn't play bad. He played actually pretty good.
I think Hillisang played more impactful in the games he needed to play than DOS did. I think DOS overall played better, but I think Hillisang had spurts where
he put DOS over Trimby. Trimby he had a really good split too. Like I'm not he played
I said, him and Hillisang, they had DOS had more games where he looked consistent, but was never like
the X factor.
Yeah, while Hillisang and Trimby had more X factor games, even though there were some games where they weren't as good and
also I think Marcoon had a better split than Yike. Marcoon looked pretty good. Remember, he was just ripping people apart. Yike, I'm not saying for his rookie year looked bad. His rookie split was great. But remember,
the Marcoon took longer to build up, and I think that was the issue too. I think
Yike has to play with Cavs, Broken Blade. Yike has the best team in the league. Like
Yike also have more games to play. That's why I think that works against Marcoon.
Who else was and now we go to the first place team. Broken Blade. People shit on Evie a lot. I think Evie actually looked good.
I would probably put Evie third over Chasey.
Yeah, I would say you could put Chasey second place team because I think Broken Blade had a good split too. I'm not taking anything away from Broken Blade, but if we're going
I'm not putting Chasey over Broken Blade.
Really?
There's too many games where Chasey was just getting like
those are Jace games that really fucked him over.
Those
Jace games were pretty troll.
Yep.
Like I don't know why people like Evie played bad. I think Evie actually played pretty good overall. To me, he looked better than Wonder did. So I would say that. Yeah. All right, who was the other player we got to go over? Where's the thing? No, fuck. Oh my god. Here's the first place team: Photon, Elyoya, Caps, Hansama, Mickey X. This bot lane's fine. That's good. They played great throughout the split. I think Niski had a better year than Caps did for the most part because there was games in the first part of the BO1 stage where Caps was just scaling up.
But Caps played more consistent, and when it was needed, he played better than Niski.
Like Caps being first all pros is not bad. He's one of the best mids in the LEC. Elyoya, like I said before, Elyoya is fine. He played good overall. I just don't like how. Like, but did Elyoya play better than Marcoon? Did Elyoya play better than like Malrong?
But those head-to-heads also come into factor. Photon's the one I'm like, okay, that makes sense, but at the same time, I'm like,
yeah. Like that's my thing. It's like these aren't exactly bad. These are like better. This is better than what it usually is. I'll say that it's better than what it mostly boils down to.
This is better than LCS last summer.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Fucking motherfuckers actually did not put in Abadage as top 3. That's fucking troll. Motherfucker put Bjergsen, who was turbo sprinting it on stage. Crazy. All right, so link to the voting ballot. Okay, so we can see like who voted for who. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see who voted for who. Okay, so the players obviously don't vote. This is hard to all read. Okay, what the hell are they doing here? Okay, so these are all the coaches and players and the freelance people in the media getting to vote. And Okay, like this is all. I don't know. They need to fix this up because this all is like a bunch of jumbled shit.
Nah, you just got. I was gonna say you can just
Unless I'm reading it wrong. Fit to page. Okay. Okay. So we have all pro team didn't vote. Okay. All the media press that got a chance to vote's right there. Oh, okay. I'll just read all this later. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, those are all the pro teams right there. I mean, overall, I'm fine with this. I think DOS should have got some nods. I think. Oh, Bo didn't even have an all-pro team. That's crazy. The hyped up Chinese jungler that everyone was hyping up is not even on the all-pro teams. Okay.
I think what hurt him is what got full-time put first. I think that
that SK series. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Also, there were games where Bo legitimately went 0-10.
Yeah.
Actually just running it on stage. But people said he kept making plays. You were also still 0-10. Just keeping that in mind. Oh Lord. Other than that, yeah. I'm glad the Mad Lions players got some recognition. They played a pretty good split overall. Glad Exekick was able to get second place. If you're asking me, I'd probably swap Markoon with Yike. But other than that, I think it's pretty good overall. All right, who's gonna be? Is it? The last thing to talk about is Fnatic. Fnatic is the last thing to talk about. I don't know about this team. They still opt in to keeping Razork and wonder why. Why are they opting in to keeping Razork and fucking Humanoid? Why? They're not a good 2v2. They're detrimentally bad for each other. Humanoid has pretty much ran it ever since last year. Razork's look pretty suspect in a lot of games, but tries to get the team ahead, but can't because his laners just either losing in their own lanes and can't push their leads, or they're not playing good as a team. Reckless is just passive as fuck, sits in lane and just farms. I don't know how Advian's supposed to fix any of that, really. Like, Advian's a player that, in theory, is going to pair up with the jungler, and they're going to have some good 2v2 synergy, but I don't know how that's going to go with Razork. I don't know who the fuck Oscurin is. Apparently, he's a LFL player, right? So that's another rookie coming on stage, or you have to kind of show him the ropes. So that's going to be another big problem, too, in the top lane. Hopefully, Razork can find some synergy with Oscurin and play through that lane. What lane do they really win through? Are you just going to play through bot? Like, on this patch coming up, are you going to play through bot? I don't even think you can play through bot in this upcoming split like that.
Nah. You got to play through, I think, jungle mid. That might be the new meta.
That's the bad part about them, because that's their weakest position right now. The mid jungle 2v2 is the worst. It's so bad. I don't know why they opt into keeping these two. Just fucking, what is this for? Is this a statement because Upset said he didn't want to play with those two anymore?
Yeah.
You want to prove to Upset, oh, we can win with these two? It's like, you didn't do anything with them last split. It was very clearly shown that they're still fucking bad together. And Reckless, he just fucking, he's an ADC. Yes, he's an ADC player. It's what he is. Jeez, it's this org, man, it's just becoming the EU version of TSM. Well, they've always been an EU TSM. Well, they would be TSM before TSM because they were made before TSM. But and then we also had that one coach that came out and said how bad the Fnatic coaching staff actually is, with their owner Sam and the other guy that runs the League of Legends department, Dardo. A guy literally said that they're horrible in how they want to run Fnatic. So if Fnatic do anything this split, I'd be surprised. Do I think they'll make it out of the BO1 stage this time around? I don't know, really. If they miss the BO3 stage again, that would be something. Do you think that would actually happen, though? They would miss the BO3 stage again? You think that'd be possible?
Yep. I think it can be possible.
Because my thing here is I'm trying to go okay, they struggled with these three players. This core of players was Reckless, Humanoid, and Razork. They're thinking okay, we didn't have any firepower from the top lane to carry our games, which is not the worst thing,
Yep.
but I don't know. I'm so down on this org right now. All the bad decisions they've been making for a while. I've been starting to catch up with them. I think potentially if Team BDS or Team Heretics flop in the BO1 stage for the next 3 weeks, there's a potential that Fnatic could definitely make the BO3 stage. But if Fnatic missed the BO3 stage again, I'm not surprised. I don't really think they've made any substantial moves to make their roster better. These are just lateral moves to kind of, what's that saying with the Band-Aid? Like putting a Band-Aid on like a broken arm kind of thing. Like they're kind of patching up a wall rather than actually fixing their issues.
You're band-aiding the issue. You're not getting root of the real problem. A Band-Aid only could do so much. Like you can't put a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. That doesn't work.
All right, so let's finish off with. We talked about G2 enough. Like, the thing with G2 is, well, do we expect them to win the split again? That's the biggest thing. Is like, since they've already qualified for MSI, where is gonna be G2's headspace? Is their headspace okay? Hey, let's just repeat and win another title? Because people have to understand, Hans Sama just won his first title ever. This man's been playing since 2017, and 2016 in the challenger scene too. That's not also minus when he started playing the game before that too. Hans Sama just won his first title. Is he necessarily, you could say, hungry enough to win again? You know, Caps has already won like a bunch of LEC titles. G2 as an org has won 10 of them already. What they want to win another one. That's kind of the thing here. I don't think they'll sack the split, but I don't think they will inherently be as dominant at the beginning part of the split. I think their strength comes from the BO3 stage, and they'll just stomp people through that. Because when it got to the BO3 stage, they just pretty much ran everybody. It was like not even close. Because the BO3 stage would essentially function as mini scrims, right? Because they play a 5-block scrim, you play 5 games, right? So if a person is already 2-0 in a scrim, like with G2, the people have even said, this G2 team has like the best scrim win rate, and their scrim win rate translates to the stage actually. So that's them just completely wrecking people. So it's not really about if G2 can win Spring. It's more like, okay, how are they going to win Spring? Will they look as dominant? And will Hans Sama want to actually win another title? Actually, Mad Lions. I don't know who would I want to represent G2 with MSI, because the thing here with G2 is who's the best team to pair up with G2 at MSI who can make it out. So my picks would be Koi, Mad Lions, and it'd be a toss-up between those two. Mad Lions going internationally. I mean, I've seen Mad Lions at international events since 2021. I mean, I don't know. This is a different core of players now.
Yeah.
But would Mad Lions get mauled going to international, like MSI later this year? Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Or not.
I like Niski a lot, but Niski got destroyed by Jojo Pion last year, guys. Keep that in mind. Niski got beaten by Jojo Pion. Then he also didn't look good against Zeka. Like, Niski looks good against players that are worse than him, but he doesn't look good against players that are better than him. Like, there's a ceiling to Niski. Like, so if T1 makes MSI and Mad Lions face T1, I mean, that's just kind of like.
First of all, that's any team coming out of LEC going against T1. T1 at this point is doing troll picks and 2-0 people. Like my thing is, would Mad Lions even be able to beat KT Roaster? That's the real question. That's the real question.
Depending on which KT you get, because there are some days you get KT and it's like, ooh. But if you get a good KT, oh, definitely not. But the thing here is, even if they got a bad KT, BDD is still a better player than Niski, right?
Yeah.
Like, most of the players, even if they're playing badly, can go toe to toe with every single person on Mad too. Like, there's not a strength of win for them, and that's the problem going into like MSI later on this year. Is most of these teams, even though their players are strong individually from their regions, most of them are outmatched by their Eastern counterparts by a substantial amount.
Yeah.
Like, even if Mad Lions were to face Gen G, like, that's a wash. Like, You know,
Like,
like they're gonna
let's not
destroy
even-
them.
Let's not even put up T1 because T1's whacking their own people in Korea. That's me. You think any team outside of Korea is gonna beat maybe a team in China, but you think any of these Western teams are gonna have a chance? They might catch T1 slipping and then come back around and beat the brakes off you. Like, think about it. Faker out here don't even got to be the best player, and he's still beating people with ease. Out here, grogger picks. Out here trolling people, running it down and still winning. Like, it's like, okay. To me, G2 don't even have to try the split. Their thing is just make sure you make it competitive for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Like,
the thing is here, like, they remind me of that Cloud9 team that was dominating it in 2020. And the same thing, the same stories with G2. Dominating in scrims, teams just basically FFing, not finishing a scrim block. So if you don't remember that Cloud9 team that did very well when they finally won a title again after all those many years, they were so dominant in scrims, people said it's all throughout social media too. And I remember they said the players mentally broke down that they were losing that hard to Cloud9. So imagine if that's happening for these teams facing G2. These guys are mentally breaking down, losing to G2 that hard.
Yeah.
So G2 are taking their scrim seriously and are taking their stage game seriously too, right? So, isn't that? But like, you know what's crazy to me is like a lot of people always ask that too. We need a team that's really dominant like G2 to just whip these teams into shape. We need a good team like G2 to whip these guys into shape, show them who's boss, smash them, because if they go to international events, they're getting smashed anyway. Let's not crazy. They're getting smashed themselves, right? Yeah. So if we get smashed right now, let's try and work on everything. You can't work on anything if you're FFing your scrims and people are like, I'm not learning anything. Okay, then what's the like? That's the fucking craziest thing. I just can't stand with people. It's like people. I've said we need like pseudo teams like T1 in like LEC and the LCS, but when you get those kind of teams, people don't want to improve to get better. It's more like, oh, I'm just gonna mentally break down. It's like, bro, you won't be going into international competition then breaking down that hard, you know? If you're getting mentally destroyed by G2, destroying you in scrims, I can only imagine just how you would feel if T1 ripped you apart. That would feel just depressing. Holy shit. You know? But that's my thing. Oh my guys, International Women's Day. International Women's Day is upon us today. You know, here these are women. These are very clear women. Obviously, I would put my tongue in Laurel's butt repeatedly. You know,
I like the redhead one. She's cute.
Oh yeah, Shocks.
I feel like that's what Miss 1736 looks like.
I feel like she looks like Trouble Inc.
No, I think she looks more like Shocks.
But remember, guys, it's International Women's Day, and this is what, and the LEC did it better than that Hershey commercial, putting 3 women on their post. Yeah, actual women, please, for the love of God. But yeah, like, man, she was looking fire in that fucking dress too. Man, god damn, her booty almost tastes like fucking sweet lusciousness.
Yeah, you wild right now, man. You wild.
God damn. Even though she said fuck Andrew Tate, whatever. She can think whatever she thinks. Whatever. All I need is you just a booty hole that tastes good.
Knowing her, she probably would fuck Andrew Tate.
God damn. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the LEC so far. We'll just chill it and relax a little bit more until I gotta do my Batman podcast in a little bit. The other person. But yeah, so that's my thing is as long as G2, because remember, G2 are still going to want to keep their form going into MSI as well. I don't think they'll willingly just give over a split.
Oh, no. This is what I think. I think they're still going to play it. They're going to play as competitively as they can. Mm-hmm. Like, knowing that, okay, you can't beat us easily. We won, but we'll still whack you. Like, yeah. I think they're going to go 6-3 like they did last time.
Because the best thing that can happen is Mad Lions improve, Koi improves, and Team Vitality actually have a carry threat with upset. Those are the only 3 teams that I'm really looking at to do anything. Is Team Vitality, Koi, and Mad Lions. And SK Gaming probably as like a dark horse as well. Oh, Excel 5 hours ago put out their roster update. Oh, Lord. I can imagine what this is going to be. A bunch of fucking copium or some shit. All right, guys, we'll watch this live right now. Share system audio. Here we go. All right. Here, audio up. There we go. Let's push this up. And here we go.
You let me know when I can start.
You tell me what's changed.
Hello, everyone. Just a follow-up on our last update. Yeah, we have been super disappointed about our first split. We needed to figure out what is most needed to fix that on a short notice. And obviously, we are still very ambitious with that team. So it was challenging, and we made very early in our off-season the decision to do 2 significant changes. First of all, we decided to go for new coaching staff. Second of all, we go for
a new coaching staff. Okay, like, would you? Because they swapped out Young Buck and Nelson. The same thing 100 Thieves did, and the same thing a lot of these orgs do. Is like, is swapping out the coaching staff really the issue there?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes
it all depends on can that coach or coaches put together the best possible drafts and get the player motivated enough to win.
Or can he fix the problem that's already there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing too. Like
a new support. We did run tryouts, not just for the support position, also for the coaches. So we gathered as much information as possible to do the best possible decision. When it comes to coaching staff, I think it's fair to say that we had 3 very, very good years, 3.5 years with Joey. But it's always in sport, especially when you do not reach your goals, that changes are needed. We actually felt, not just because of the results, because also of the environment here, that we needed to do a change here. We explored immediate after the split the options, and I have to say I'm very, very happy. And I can announce that Jonas, aka Hidden, will be our new head coach. He impressed every one of us, all players, management. He is one of the youngest LEC head coaches ever. But
that's going to be a problem too. Is like, you think veteran players are going to listen to a head coach that's younger than them?
No. If he proves himself, yeah.
If what he says is true, is a thing. Because I have to see how it plays out in the split, because remember how I said like players will change their tune? They say this right now, but I want to see if they're gonna actually listen to this guy as the split goes by.
If he has a certain plan and it doesn't get followed by the players, that's when the players get cut. Like I've seen this before, where a coach comes in, innovate stuff, it doesn't work out the first time. They realize, okay, it might not be the coaches, it was probably the players who just weren't a good fit to what we needed. Get rid of them, get new people. Like,
oh Lord, I hope they listen to I hope that whatever this guy was that they have, I hope the players understand the age difference between them doesn't mean the guy is less smarter than them. I've seen this happen before. I hope this works out for them.
But he impressed us the most. So we do feel that we have found something extraordinary here with him, and that he will bring something to the team we didn't have before. And that makes us obviously very, very excited about that. We also looked into the roster, and we analyzed that we need a change on support.
Not jungle? You're not jungle? The guy was turbo sprinting it? They're saying turbo sprinting more. What? I mean, Targamas was played bad, but
Targamas was the real.
Targamas played really bad. But
you could hide. No, you could hide the jungle problem more than the support problem.
That's the support problem.
I know it was worse in the jungle. That's how because you don't want to do two changes like there are significant changes. You need to do one, and then sometimes you gotta sacrifice a whole thing where it's like, all right, cool. You know what? A spring split didn't work as well. Let's swap out the jungler now. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not like a whole thing where it's 9 games and it's like these are 9 games playoffs and 9 games.
You have less games to prove yourself. Actually,
yeah, literally, you go 1v1 versus a team. You win, you lose, you lose.
Give me 1 second. I want to see something really quickly right here. Where's
Yeah.
Dominate? Do I have him on the thing? He's not streaming right now.
Nope.
That man's probably dead sleep. That man be staying up all night.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if people do like podcasts. Where do they actually? Trying to see what. Okay, Inside on Esports. I don't know why they haven't changed their Twitch name to Last Free Nation yet.
Because we are not relying.
I don't know why they haven't did that. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, give me literally a second. I'm sorry, I just want to change. Okay. That was cool. All right, let's go back to this.
One of the most important aspects here is that we lacked communication within the team. So we needed...
You even know that going in. Targetboss was not vocal last year on G2. That's why you know they weren't properly scouting. Targetboss in the voice comms last year of G2, you could watch them. They're on the YouTube channel, talk like nothing. Man spoke not a single word in a lot of the games. That's how good coach. That's how the scouting good is for some of these orgs, guys. A guy who literally on video was barely speaking. They're like, "Yeah, we can't win with this guy because he doesn't talk." Yep.
Someone more vocal in that team, and when we realized and found out that Limit is available, he tried out with us. We were immediately very happy about what we have seen in these tryouts. Plus, obviously, the track record he had before Team BDS. So that made us very confident in offering him the support
Limit's fine. He'll be a decent little upgrade for Targamas.
role, and I think he's same excited as we are. It's fair to say that our ambition for Spring Split will be just to become better. It's to be fair, it's not too hard to become better, but I think it's a realistic and not delusional ambition to say we want to become minimum top 6, better top 4 for Spring, but the goal remains to go to Worlds, and there should be no other ambition with the roster we do have. Thanks a lot to our fans. I think we got so many positive and supportive feedback. Also after our last update, and I think everyone did see and feel that we were actually the most disappointed. We worked very hard this off season. It was again, it was a very difficult one, a very different one. But we obviously hope for the same support that we got lately, and everyone can look forward that this will become better.
All right, so my only issues is I don't know how you didn't see these issues with Targamas beforehand. That's my biggest thing is I guess they thought that they could fix that, but there's no way you were fixing that. I mean, there was no way you were fixing that. Keeping Xerxes still, I would probably still get rid of that guy. I guess they're really all in on Xerxes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Not sure anything should be watched past this point. I really hope he decided to leave on his own, because deciding to pick up someone else less than half good because he's more talkative shows how insanely good the decision making in that roster / org is. What are you talking about? You wouldn't keep Targamas yourself, you weirdo. What the fuck? That's the thing. Why is Xerxes still here? Man, it's dog shit. Because he and Otawamne have that synergy people are talking about is from 2019. They've not played together since 2019. This guy says, doesn't matter. He's still the worst jung in the LEC. It's not even close. Let's give him another chance. Oh my God. What does a person have to prove to show their dog shit?
Be complete shit. I have no idea.
This man has shown that he's ran it down in every fucking game. Let's give him another chance. Oh my God. Like, you're not going to be making top 4 with Xerxes. I'm sorry, bro. It ain't working that way. Most definitely a top 10 team. Jesus Christ. Lord. Astralis, #1 fangirl. Oh my Lord. Jesus Christ. Pronouns in bio. Yep, that's how it usually works.
Yep.
Oh Lord. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Anything else you want to say, man, before we head out? Let me send us a message out really quickly.
It's gonna be interesting to split because we're gonna see who really improved and who's just still garbage in this split. I like for Fnatic to improve. I'm not sure about XL. In my opinion.
My thing here is you're trying to say top 6 minimum. Zerk say top 4. Fuck, man. Limit is a step in the right direction, I think. But if they really want to play better, you need to either get a younger jungler who's, you say, more hungry to make those big plays, who's going to obviously make the plays to get the team ahead, not a jungler who sits there and AFK farms for every single fucking game. Then their biggest stretches. Oh, well, Ottawamne had synergy with Xerxes. Yeah, 3 years ago. And it looked like based off their gameplay, did Xerxes have any good synergy with Ottawamne now? Both of them have massively grown as players since then. Xerxes still fucking nothing, and Ottawamne went from winning the LEC to going to 10th place. That's exactly what happened. Oh my god. These orgs. Then scouting would go from, I see a dude who wasn't talkative last year in G2 voice comms to picking him up from our team and thinking that's going to be anything different. What the fuck? You can't make this shit up, people. You really can't. Let me, oh shit. Let me see this guy. Hold on. What is this guy? Okay. I'm ready. Are you? Let me message this guy. Let me get that set up, and then we can go get that done. But yeah, guys, wanted to make sure I give you this Cloud9 podcast. Also, I'll be doing the weekly recaps for the LEC 2023 spring split starting in week 1, and I'll be doing the rest of the recaps for the LCS as well for week 7 and 8, as well as, this goes for playoffs and worlds and MSI and all that stuff. Let me see, because it's a way for you guys to digest. It gets you more consistent content throughout the season rather than just waiting for like news of roster changes. Actually, what else you be doing, man? You gonna be finishing up the market watches or anything like that?
Yep. And in my deck profile, got that coming out tomorrow.
Okay, what deck are you playing? You use Scareclaw, right?
I'll be playing Scareclaw right now. Trap Tricks, I might not play at the local I go on Sundays because there's a few people playing it. That's why I'm like, okay, maybe I'll play that. Ninjas that might be a no. I'm starting to play the deck. It does have interaction, but it's 50-50. Flu might be on the way back in a few weeks.
Okay.
I might bring Flu back after regional in April. That's mean. Be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to build like Chaos Synchro right now. That's why I'm just for a fun deck, something for the change.
All right. I should be able to watch Scream 6 this week. Should be able to. I don't know. If not, I'll catch it on the Tuesday, my next day off. And also, Shazam 2 comes out. There's a lot of good movies coming out. A lot of good hyped titles coming out this month. Good. John Wick 4, Shazam 2, Scream 6. Woo! Can't wait to watch them all. Can't wait to watch people suck off DC more. That's just always great. Even though I like these movies. I like these movies a lot, but man, the dick sucking gets so annoying half the time.
Yeah, because people, it's like they'll hype up one and tear down the other. It's like, no, we've hit a medium peak with superhero movies. 2019 was the peak year. Like, okay. And it was gone, but this is better. Like, nah, it's the same.
One of them motherfuckers said the DCEU's been producing everything better than the MCU since 2013. They're talking about Man of Steel? Man of Steel is not good. It sucks. Sorry, Man of Steel is not good.
You talk about BVS? Get the fuck out of here. Suicide Squad? Okay, nigga.
Just off those 3 movies alone, off those 3 movies right there alone, I'm already like, dude, that's already 3 fat L's.
That's why I don't listen to people. I'm like, okay, cool. Your opinion
I mean,
is
if you
trash.
genuinely think that, go ahead. But I
No,
mean,
your opinion is trash.
yeah, it's always like that, right? Holy shit! All right, guys, I will see you. We'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm gonna talk about the LCS actually around 5:30, 6 p.m. PST. Talk about the LCS 2023 Spring Split Week 7. I'll have my recap out that Monday or that Tuesday before. You know, most recaps are not going to be that long. For the first recap, I just wanted to make sure that I got all the information about why I wasn't doing them, because I was actually very, very busy for a bit. But I realized that in order to give you guys out consistent content, that's going to have to be throughout the regular season. Just sucks that I wasn't doing it at the beginning part of the split, but better late than never. I always say it's okay. It's fine. We'll see you guys later, okay? Peace.